And we are gonna have some public comment this morning, so wherever you want to fit that into.
Okay.
Okay. I think we are live.
All right. I am still connected to internet.
Hopefully Cody can hear us.
Loud and clear.
Okay,
Do you need
good.
to play a round of where in the world is Cody?
I know, I'm so curious. Cody's always
Not
somewhere.
anywhere fun. I'm home. I just kids were home a little late this morning, so I didn't make it out the door in time.
All good.
Okay, we don't have to be jealous of you.
All right, and Sundance just said that he'll be a little late also. Great. And I'm just pulling up. Yeah, here we go. Gotta make it happen. All right, good morning. I don't think we need to do introductions today. I feel like everybody knows each other. Great. Meeting minutes. Perfect timing. We're just starting.
Sorry about that.
No, no.
Reading. Had to talk.
Anybody have any questions on the March meeting minutes? Okay. We have to have a motion. Yeah, we do.
Motion to approve the meeting minutes as written.
Thank you.
I second.
Right, all in favor? All right. Report of chair. I think everything I want to say will fit into later things. I'm excited about both grant applications and mural applications, so excited to take a look at those. Not today, but discuss next steps on any of those. Yeah. Financial report. Any questions? Finances. I think something to for the grants committee keep in mind is just the total amount that we have left for this year, which is $7,792.60. Any other questions on finance? Okay, we don't actually have to approve those, so let's dive right into committee reports. Grant committee.
So the grant committee, so our spring cycle closed April 1st. We've received 5 applications. I have those, and I sent around an email to everybody on the commission asking who wants to be on the grants committee. I've heard from 3, I think Sam, Rosemary, and Cody. And I proposed 2 meeting times for the grants subcommittee. And it seems like one of those days is working better for people. So we are likely going to meet on the 18th of April, which is a Friday morning at 8:30. It seems like this seems to be a time that people works with people's schedule. So I just repeated this time. So if I have not heard from you and you would still like to join the grant subcommittee, just send me an email, but you can put in your calendar that we're going to be meeting April 18th at 8:30. And Sarah, maybe I'll just send you a quick email to book a room with you. So we're going to meet to do an initial round of vetting just to make sure that every application we've received is eligible and is complete. And then we can let Sarah know if we need to contact the applicant to request more information or other documentation. And then our subcommittee will make an initial recommendation that we will present to the full commission in our May meeting. And we invite the applicants. So I'm just kind of saying this for people who maybe this is their first cycle. We invite the applicants to speak to their submission or application and answer any questions during the May meeting. So I'm a little nervous about the 7,700 we have left in 5 applications. And that's seems to be a common pattern, right, with the spring cycle. So that's also something the subcommittee can discuss in our April 18th meeting. So mark your calendars for that. Send me an email if you want to join the grants subcommittee if I haven't heard from you. Even if you were on it last year, I don't necessarily know that you want to recommit, so please let me know. And then we'll see you on April 18th if you're joining us.
And we won't know yet for this cycle if we will have more money next year, but we did ask for more money next year to hopefully fix some of that. All right. Barbara's not here, so we'll skip cultural asset committee. October committee.
I'm about a month behind where Holly just stated she was with the grant committee. We probably should have been having the same conversations last month. So committed to doing that. So I'm first year chair of that committee, for those that don't know. And Holly and Nina were co-chair in the past, is that right? Or
We've both chaired. Holly,
Yes, I think I was 2
Okay.
years ago and then you were
last year.
last year, but we're really excited that you're
Yes.
the
Yeah,
new chair,
yeah.
and we're very willing to help.
Yeah, so I suppose a similar process to what was just laid out by Holly. I'll get an email out, once I can coordinate some times with these two to help do a little bit of a handoff. And hopefully, be prepared to stay involved too. And we'll get something on the calendar, I hope, the second part of this month, because we're 6 months out, and I'm sure those 6 months go pretty quick. And look forward to getting things going. So expect an email later, later this month, and we'll try to get something on the calendar for the second half of April.
Thanks. All right. Ad hoc. This is a great committee name, Public Restroom Art Committee.
Yeah, so we met and we have started developing some like plug and play procedures for when we have projects like this that have RFPs open. The committees began developing, and I think this will probably shift over to cultural assets once the committee is done. But we started developing a list of Bangor area artists and art teachers so that when we have small committees, small projects like these that we don't have a very long time to do outreach to, we can like do sort of like a one-on-one email campaign. And it looks like we have 3 applicants, which is more than we had last time, so that's great. And we have to decide sort of next steps, which I didn't chime in our email thread because I wasn't sure what that would entail.
Yeah.
So it's I guess I'll.
Yeah. I figured we would save this for today's meeting since we have time. I think next steps would be for the ad hoc committee to meet and vet the 3 applicants to make sure they're all eligible. And the same as the grants committee to then make a recommendation to the full commission.
Okay.
So we can meet sometime this month and hopefully I can make it work this time.
Sarah,
Yeah.
when did we say was the deadline for when we were going to tell people who received the little grants?
Let me double check if that was written into the RFP.
I feel like it was like,
Yeah, I thought it was. I thought it was 2, so let me just pull it up here quickly. You. Okay, so. It says that in theory, we will be notifying applicants in April. So.
okay, but just April generally?
Yep, it just said April 2025.
All right.
It did say that murals should be completed by June 30th.
Okay.
For installation in July. But notification just says April 2025, no specific date in April.
So I mean, it would be great if we could just like streamline this process a little bit.
Yeah. Because the full commission has to choose, right? It's not, the subcommittee can't make a selection. Is that right?
I mean, the recommendation should come from a quorum of the commission.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
All right. How about this? Can we go through the rest of the agenda and aim for completing all of that by like 10 after 9 and then spend 20 minutes taking a look at the 3 applications?
If everyone's okay with that, I mean, it's 3 of them.
Right.
So-
And they're not, we didn't ask for a lot of information, so we might be able to do that. Is
Yeah.
that?
And I can pull them up on
Right.
the
Okay,
screen so
cool.
everybody can see.
Let's
Yeah.
do that.
Let's do that. Okay. moving right along. I think we will invite Bangor Beautiful up to the table. Let's pull up some chairs because you do have to sit at the table to be able to. You're heard.
We're gonna get cozy.
All right. Waterfront Concerts French project. This sounds fun.
Yeah. So you probably read the thing. We're excited to bring some art to an area that we had several emails about asking us to do it. I think a lot of people who walk, work and drive to work there are always seeing something that, you know, used to be a waterfront. And so they see that fence and they think this could be better. And I have thought that as well. And then when we were approached and to, you know, think of something, we came up with this plan. Part of it is we hope you have a wicked good time, which when, you know, we were going through things that might want to say or things we could work on, I said, it's so main that you just keep the main theme going. And the plan is to have, we already have, we kind of went a little bit and jumped the boat a little bit here, but we've already given 20 artists their panels and they're currently working on them. They're 4 foot by 4 foot marine plywood and they're in the theme of Maine. And so they're, you know, a broad theme, but the plan is to have the website at the end where people with a little QR code on the sign, where people can go and learn about the artists and why they painted what they did for the theme of Maine. And then the Color Wizard, who has already done that beautiful Springwoods mural, is incredibly talented, and because we've worked with them before, we were able to get a very good price and negotiate that way. So, and then the color scheme sort of came from this idea of a little bit of like a big top, like traveling circus fun, you know, the idea of like you know, coming to town, you know, and so because they're you know, entertainment venue, it seemed to be fitting. So that's where the inspiration came from. Are there any questions or comments?
I think it's a beautiful idea and will much improve the appearance of that area.
So we're pretty excited about it, yeah. And I don't know if it include plants that we're trying to do as well. Or
We mentioned that we would be putting plants. There's a strip of grass right in front of the fence that is currently just low mowed turf. So we're gonna stick a few low growing native plants in there that will add flowers and pollinator habitat and be a little better for the environment than just grass that needs to be mowed.
There any plans for a phase 2 where you put more of the 4x4 panels in
There is, but there's no 100% commitment, so I didn't want to mention that. We're hoping that either next year or the following year, there'll be a little bit more money, and we'd like to do another 20 artists fill in, so it'd be every spot.
30.
Cool. It'll be 30, yeah,
Yeah.
so it'll be
Cool.
overall, it could be 50 artists if we, but where there was no 100% commitment, I wanted to design something so that if all else fails, it would still look really complete and feel finished this year.
Any other questions?
Are there things this commission can do to support?
When we have a call for artists and things, you
Yeah,
know, spreading the word. would
Right,
be great.
next year we'll need another 30 artists and we were able to find 20 pretty easily.
Are they all Bangor based?
Most of them are Bangor based. We have a few from Southern Maine, but a lot of them, I would say, like 75% are Bangor based, which made it easy to do, you know, because the first one I wanted to make sure we had local artists as much as possible, but if we do that second call, it would be great to have it go far and wide.
Do you have any plans for, I mean, maybe this isn't, the space doesn't allow for it, but the little celebration you all had with the other Color Wizard mural was so wonderful.
I don't know about this one. We had, so this is a little bit trickier because it's all on.
Yeah.
But we are working with the venue, so maybe, when I'm out there helping them figure out to paint the stripes, it's gonna take quite a bit. I can talk to them about trying to have some sort of celebration on a day they don't have a concert, because they do have a pretty big venue there. We
Yeah.
Right, so maybe if I can convince them, that would be a fun idea. Yeah. So.
It'd be great to have all 20 artists come out and
Yeah.
get to meet them
Absolutely.
or see who they are.
Cool. This probably says in here, but when are you hoping to have it complete?
So, June
Okay.
is when we're hoping to have the color wizard Jared Gillette come up and do his portion. And then in the same week, all of the artists will, hopefully we'll get good weather, will pull up, drop off their panels. We're gonna coat it with 2 coats of a sealant and then attach it to the fence all that day. So it should be like, one day it's nothing and then next 3 days it's gonna be art. So.
Cool. All right. Any other questions?
So I was just gonna remind the commission that you should pass a recommendation.
Yeah. And I don't think I can, right?
I'm sorry.
Can I be the one to say it, or is it?
Well, you can call for the motion as the chair, and you can second motions as the chair.
Cool.
I will put forward a motion that we recommend this project.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Cool.
Yeah.
It's always fascinated me that, there's never been any graffiti on that, any of that fence. Is that true? Does the city
Yeah.
know? Or, yeah, I mean, that's astonishing to me.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's quite public.
Well,
visibility
That doesn't stop people other places.
True.
It's astonishing.
Pretty close to the police station.
I mean, I get it, but still, it's been a long time,
Yeah.
not even one little. Yeah.
I'm excited to see all the individual pieces.
I am,
That'll be really
and
fun.
I think it's fun that it's at gallery level, you know what I mean, like when you're walking by, it'll be very front and center, so I think it'll be a lot of images and pictures too.
Mhm.
People who visit the area will probably go and walk the fence in the area more, so.
Mhm.
I was thinking waiting in line for the concert, that's great, you're just
Yeah.
walking down, looking at all, yeah.
We're hoping that they'll be lit at night too, we're looking into solar lighting, so that
Awesome.
it just downward on the piece.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
All right. Thank you. We have public comment. Let's do that next. Come on up. You have to sit at the table because these are public meetings, so for our fancy owl here to record you, you have to join us at the table.
All right, my turn.
Yes,
Good. Looking forward to it.
Welcome.
Thank you. Well, I can begin then?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good morning, everyone, ladies,
Morning.
gentlemen. My name is Stephen Shepherd. I'm one of your Republican write-in candidates for governor. I come from Virginia originally. I was born in Virginia. And I have lived in Bangor for 7 years now. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to you and address this issue that I have on my mind. I wanted to address the committee today because I have a really good example of culture in Bangor. I am related to Moses Shepherd, and Moses was a Quaker. The Shepherds were Quakers in Baltimore. After the revolution was over, Shepherd had run away to Newfoundland, and the family came back to Baltimore and they started working as merchants again, and they rose to great power. And Moses is one of the biggest characters in the 1800s that I have found as a historian. I'm also a producer. I've been a politician all my life since I was in grade school. And I've held a chair for the Republican Party in Salt Lake City, Utah also. So I do have some experience with political office and running campaigns. I've won every campaign I've ever tried for, so I think my chances of winning are good, actually. I just need to expose myself to people in Maine. But back to Moses, and I know I only have like 3 minutes or so, considering nobody else is here, could I ask for a little bit more?
I think we can probably do about 5.
Okay, I'll do it real quick. But the reason I wanted to address this to y'all here in Maine is because Moses and the family knew Dorothy Dix. And Dorothy Dix is in the book. She's indexed. You can find her in the index and the page numbers that you want to look for. But Dorothy has the hospital over by the Veterans Affairs that you should know. And Moses and Dorothy, they were trying to help people with mental illnesses. Because back in the old America, no one was helping schools and municipal buildings and municipal organizations at all. Moses Shepherd owned the first railroads, the Bank of Baltimore. He worked the prisons, schools, and he was also one of the first Americans to help establish Liberia, Africa. I mean, Moses was huge. He was really big. Shepherds were huge. Things changed after 1914, and I don't even want to start with that. But the reason I wanted to address this is because this is where the white man's culture begins here in Bangor. Everything starts to develop around Dorothy Dix because she had money, and she got her money, presumably from these Quakers, Moses Shepherd and these people. And I think this history here, what I'm presenting to you today, is a genuine, factual, guaranteed example of culture in Maine. And it starts here in this book, where I have autographed this book. This is a copy. I have branded it with my own brand on YouTube, Steve Vision, and I have stamped it. So there's no doubt that this book came from a shepherd. And I want to present this artifact of history for you. I want to give it to your committee because there's no one else in Maine or in Bangor right now that are worthy of this kind of artifact. This is an artifact. If it was Dungeons and Dragons, it would be a spell. That's how potent this story is. And the reason I want to give it to you today is because I truly believe that this book will inspire anyone that cares anything about the culture in Maine. Because Dorothy Dix, I guarantee you, Dorothy Dix and these people in this book are some of the finest examples of Americans and Mainers that you have. There's no one else better. I can't find it. And I have read about war. I've read about history extensively. And these are the people you're looking for. If you're concerned about culture in Maine, this is a book that you need to keep, and it needs to be copied 1 billion times so you can give it to all your students of Maine, because it's an inspiration. And I know why the school boards and the superintendents and the education department doesn't want to use it, because it's Quaker. It's not Jewish. It's not Christian. It's Quaker. It's American history, and it revolves around Dorothy Dix. Dorothy Dix is one of the biggest characters in the book, and I would like to give it to you. Can you accept it?
I mean, we don't really have an archival library. I mean, the library has the archival library. That might be what I would recommend to the commission, that something like that would go to.
Or the Historical Society.
Yeah, or Historical Society, yeah.
So you don't want this
Well,
book?
we just don't have a
We
place to
literally, yeah.
properly store it.
Like, we don't even have a desk or a cabinet. There's
Oh,
shared
I see.
space, you know what I mean?
Okay. Well, I'm giving this committee of cultural development, which is obviously where it should start, an opportunity to collect these artifacts. I also have something for you. These are my branded $1 million mermaid bills. If you would like one to remember this occasion, I would gladly like you to have one. Can you accept one?
I mean, as staff, we can't, but
You don't want one of these at all? Would you like one?
Commissioners.
I mean, I find it interesting, but I don't know if we can or not.
We're allowed to accept
Okay,
gifts.
well, I just wanted to, give you an opportunity to be part of this experience, because I think I have a little bit of a chance to build a campaign and get some numbers and some votes, because I do know a lot of people in Maine. I played disc golf, I hike the Appalachian Trail, I ride motorcycles, and I'm always talking to people in Maine, and there's not very many politicians in Maine. Being a politician in Maine is very rare. It's one of the rarest things I've found. So that's all I have for you today.
So I
Thank
know
you
that
for
might be
coming.
discouraging, but I think you see with other groups coming in, groups come to us to ask for ideas or get a blessing on an idea. And I'm happy to try to connect you with the Historical Society if you want to reach me offline. My name's Sundance Campbell. So easy to find on Google if you want to shoot me an email.
Okay, do you have a card?
I don't carry any with me, which is a funny thing, isn't it?
Well, I can write your email.
No, but double check. No, I don't have any. Yeah, so Sundance, I can write that for you. You have anything I can write on?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, thanks for coming out.
Yeah.
Good luck with your campaign.
Thank you very much. Would you like me to exit? Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. Well, thanks for having me and have a nice day, and I hope to see you again. And I just wanted to ask you one more question real quick. Can people in Bangor participate in the city council meetings?
There's public comment allowed at city
Okay,
council.
I just
Yep,
wanted to
at
ask
the
that.
beginning, yeah.
All right, well, once again, thank you for having me. And I would love for you to vote for me because I have a plan. And if you want to know the plan, if you want to know some more, I have a website. If you care to look at it, it's about my campaign. And that's all I can say. I'm not going to force anything on you at this point. So you have a good day, okay, everyone?
Thank you.
All right, thanks for having me.
All right. Staff updates.
Okay,
Want to save the RFP for last?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then on the Pickering Square art installation.
Yeah.
We, I mean, I guess the way we left it with Jeff Davis was that we were gonna, work with you as to, what your recommendation might be, like, do you wanna do themes throughout the year? I know that there was interest from, one of the departments in engineering for some stormwater information, as part of the year, maybe as a little sort of city installation on city information like that. But it's really, we're sort of looking to the commission as to the ideas that you might have.
I think one of our open questions is still, is it waterproof? Like what kinds of
Yeah,
materials?
so it
can be
is,
displayed?
it is weatherproofed,
Okay.
and I did confirm the, actual thickness of the opening,
Mhm.
is pretty slim, so. Most likely would have to be something on, like a paper level of thickness. We couldn't really fit like a, full canvas with wood backing on
Right.
it.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
like this thick, but maybe if it's a thin plywood panel, maybe that would work.
Yeah,
Okay, so it
Yep.
could potentially be panel or paper.
Yep.
Or fabric.
right.
Mhm.
Okay, and when is it ready for the first?
Well, I mean, they're hoping to, get back to construction as soon as they can this year
Yeah.
and to finish it this year.
Okay.
But it may not be completed until fall.
Okay, great. So why don't we? Don't have time today, we don't have time in May, but can we add it to our June agenda?
Yes, I'll put it
Okay.
to, yeah.
Brainstorm, and if anybody has ideas in the meantime, feel free to email them to me so that we can track. But yeah, we'll discuss it in June, because there'll be less other things on the agenda in June.
Who would be responsible for changing it out?
That's a good
It'll
question.
be, so staff will be there for actually like unlocking the kiosk. But the discussion that was had was that the artists, both whoever's being removed and whoever's being put in, will be present to actually handle their own work. So that they can have that control to make sure it doesn't get damaged or anything in the installation or taking out process.
And then is there space for labels? Or does a label have to fit inside
It
the
has to
same
fit
display? Okay.
inside, yeah.
And how big a thing is it? Do we know?
Yeah, I
We
have,
have dimensions in an earlier packet.
yeah.
This is probably done before June, Anne, you think?
No, it won't be done before June.
Oh, okay.
It'll be done during this construction
If
season.
they're aiming for fall, then
Gotcha,
Yeah.
June could
I
work.
mean, yeah, it would be great to have it done for like October.
Great.
So just to
Yeah.
clarify, and I'm so sorry if we've talked about this already,
That's fine.
but is our sort of task as a committee to find art for it, find artists to participate in? Okay,
If you'd like to, yeah, I
Okay.
mean, it would be great to have the commission take this on if you want to.
did we know how many boxes, panels there will be? Like how many?
I think it's two, right?
Okay.
Because it's on either side.
Yeah, two.
Yeah,
And they're
Okay.
both, are they both double-sided? Am I remembering that right? Or just one side?
Nope, they're both double-sided.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and so it could be one artist, all four slots, frames,
Right.
or a group. And it could be themed, we could say this month, and we could do a schedule of themes for the next 6 months or the next year and kind of select artists. To give
Is
people
it
a bit of advance
displayed only
notice.
for 1 month?
I think we can
It's up
decide.
to you, if you wanna do seasonal, you wanna do monthly.
Okay, so we have
3
to
months.
sort of decide the like thematic,
The plan
yeah,
Yeah.
and then also do outreach to the artists.
and then execute, yeah.
Got it.
And I assume, I'm sorry, we've talked about this, there's a stipend for the artist? Or no?
I'm not sure if there is in the budget, but I'll find out.
Okay, because that would really change, I mean, how much money there is would change how many artists and then how frequent would it
Yeah.
be changed.
And
Right,
also the type of artist who might be interested.
Right,
Exactly.
if there's no stipend, we should probably stick to like school groups. That's kind of my thought.
Mhm.
okay.
I just pulled up the size really quick, just so you have it. It's 26.5 inches tall by 33.5 wide.
Okay. So you could fit a 20 by 30
Mhm.
piece plus a label.
Yeah.
And we could ask artists to make their own labels.
Right.
And they can put, whatever they want.
It's not very big.
No, 20 by 30 is,
It's,
I mean, for
I-
paper drawing, it's kind of big.
yeah.
But you could also put two, so like
Right,
an artist could put two smaller pieces in one panel if they wanted.
it would be great to get like a little bit of a stipend.
Yes.
If that's possible,
Yeah, let me see what I can,
okay. It doesn't have to be to the extent of the like public restroom RFP, but even like a couple hundred.
Yes.
Mhm.
would be
Does
good.
it, just, I guess we're pushing on time, but does the committee have the right year over year to maybe dedicate some the grant pool towards things like that? So we're not going to
If you
the
wanted
city
to,
every time, I'm just
yeah.
curious. I mean,
yeah,
I know the grant pool's already strained, I'm just curious.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Yep.
Yeah, let me see if I can, find some funds for a stipend to keep this separate though, so that you wouldn't have to do that.
Great, thank you. Cool. All right, you have an update on the downtown TIF amendment?
Yes, we sent in the amendment, to the TIP program, to the state. And so once they approve it, then, next fiscal year, we'll be looking at using, possibly using these funds for, cultural uses. Because right now, our TIF doesn't allow for that. The statute changed. And so that's gonna open us up to that for next year. Usually, the TIF is about, like, the overall TIF is about $3 million. Right now, it's used mostly for capital expenditures, like, debt service for, the Columbia Street streetscape improvements, the wall, on the Kentuskeg, we're setting aside money in the capital from this, to do that. That's gonna be a huge project. And, other things though, like the monument restorations project that, Tracy's working on. That comes out of this TIF as well. So, sort of large projects, but also some smaller projects as well. So basically what will happen is next fiscal year, the TIF will just like all the other budgets, goes through the budget process. And so the commission would be able to make a recommendation, of what you would like to be put in the budget for, you know, either a public art project or some other, cultural function or program.
All right, great. Other questions? All right, other updates? Or we good to switch to?
I didn't have anything else.
I don't either.
Cool.
So if you.
Let's take a look at our 3 applications.
Now, is this publicized or we no longer?
No, we are still here. I'm just gonna pull this up and then screen share.
Yeah, this is still part of the public meeting.
Okay, because I just wondered how much of what we might say should be more confidential.
I don't think it can be.
Yeah, I think
Okay,
because we all decide in public meetings anyway.
okay.
And Sarah, you did do an initial vetting. of
I
these?
just, the finance department checks them over for meeting the actual
Requirements.
bid requirements, so that piece of it is completed.
Okay,
And I mean, I did a very brief little look over.
yeah, so we didn't have an address requirement, but all 3 of these are eligible for the project.
And the intent is that we're starting with 2, but maybe expanding, is that true?
So
We are starting with 2.
Yes. We're starting with 2 restrooms, and so we could award both restrooms to 1 person, or we could award each restroom to 1 person. And right, there will be more, ideally, hopefully, there are more restrooms already, and we will hopefully continue or expand this project to other restrooms. And our thinking was a little bit that we would love for the artist to consider the location of the restroom with the theme of the artwork. And the first one is, or one of them is by the library, the other one is in the waterfront. So,
All right, so I've got these 3 applications screen shared, so I'll just have you let me know how you want me to scroll through
Can you
them. for
zoom
you.
out a little bit so we can see the full page?
Yes.
Bottom
Easier
right.
said than done at this angle. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. And you can just tell me what order you want these to go in, but.
Okay, so we have 3 applicants. The one that is up right now, her name is Mariah Reading. She has a pretty impressive resume of different national park art residencies. She actually has quite a social media following as well. And she's proposed for both of the locations, obviously. Yeah, her idea is to sort of, and this is within her art style, it appears, to mimic the natural landscape of these 2 locations and bring in some like eco, socio themes around those 2 locations, one being the waterfront, one being, you know, downtown Bangor near the Kenduskeag stream, the library. So that's the first one. We can, I've just like taken this over, I realize.
no, you're
Okay.
good.
Yeah.
You
This
read
is-
them.
Yeah. At one point, I just wanted to point out, and we did not require someone to be a Bangor artist. But Mariah does live in Brunswick.
Yeah.
She has a Bangor address.
Oh, okay.
She and I
Maybe
went to
to-
high school together,
Okay.
so she grew up here. Her brother was the one who did the one on Union Street with all on that building right there with all the main, you know which one I'm talking about? The one on the.
Yeah.
Oh, Liam
Yeah.
Reading.
The together.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So this might just be an outdated resume.
But yeah, she's,
Well, that was her brother.
No, it says Brunswick on her.
Oh.
I think.
Oh,
No, she went
education.
to
School.
Bowdoin.
Perfect.
She,
I think she is moving back to Maine.
Okay,
She has a job in Maine
cool,
Yeah,
now.
great,
I saw, I'm friends with her on Facebook and stuff, but, yeah, she's.
great.
Okay, so this second one is for Jocelyn Stuthite, who for the record lives in Brooks. Which I think was still in our range, but it's not Bangor. I had a question about, they circled, do you currently have or are you in the process of developing a domestic violence policy? They circled yes. I don't know if that's
That must have been a standard,
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
standard city
RFP.
requirement in all RFPs, yeah.
okay.
maybe they didn't understand.
Maybe they didn't understand the question.
Yeah.
Okay, it was the only one with
Yeah.
that circled yes.
Yeah.
So I didn't really understand that question in the application to begin with, so I'm just gonna move on. So this artist has also proposed two, one for each of the public restrooms. The first one looks like a canoescape. Second one is a sort of booky theme. They have done sort of commissions in the past. They do pet portraits. And yeah, that's
You know what that looks like to me? The top ones looks like loggers on the river,
That's what I
maybe.
thought.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
But this is conceptual, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's, she's
Oh,
not
yeah,
showing us the
yeah.
finished project.
yeah,
Yeah.
she said rough, very rough and unfinished drawing, not an accurate representation of ability.
It just
She
reminds me of
does say,
pictures of them logging on the river, yeah.
I propose that a vibrant mural depicting the historic log drives on the Penobscot River for the Broad Street one. Cool.
All right, let's go to the other one. So this is Gwen Higgins. She is proposing it appears only for the library. Her experience is in set design. And her idea, she has a lot of really interesting sets in this packet. And her idea is to do I'm trying to think of how she worded it because I thought it was kind of interesting. Based on the Second Empire architecture homes that line the streets. So sort of like dollhouse, child's play, but also like within the architectural style that is on the street. And I believe this one's for just by the library, but I have to double check. And yeah, those are our 3 applications.
All right, any questions about any of them?
I just have just a general question, and sorry if we discussed this before. Could we pick one artist for one and one for another? Or do they have to do both?
They don't have to do both.
Yes.
I suppose if they applied for 2 and we award them 1, they could withdraw and say, I'm not interested in doing only 1, but I think we can cross that bridge when we get there.
Okay.
I'm a bit prejudiced because I know Mariah quite well, but I know that she would do a really interesting project. She's done a lot with found objects and environment and as well as landscape things.
I don't know Mariah at all, but I was very impressed with
Yes.
what I saw. And I think initially I was like, oh, it's across from the library, it should be book themed, but then I was like, no, when you look at well, it could be, it absolutely could be. But when you look at that restroom, what you see in the background is the Kenduskeag Stream. And so I think that's a really cool, relevant take on that, to have the canoe on the restroom with the Kenduskeag Stream in the background. And I like the eco-critical, socio-historical take, and I find that very impressive, like I feel confident in her artistic abilities from this proposal. I think the other ones are very good too, like the concept is really good, but I feel I'm like, this makes me feel confident in her abilities as an artist.
I'm inclined to agree, and I don't know, like, how this works, so tell me if I'm saying something incorrect or inappropriate, but I'm inclined to give her both. Just having read through the applications and like seeing the different experiences. I just think it's such a get, she's done a lot of really great work.
Yeah, I feel the same way, and I think it'd be really nice to like see the cohesion, like, I mean, I know they're like far apart, but like to have, I mean, in her same style, like. I think that's really cool.
Any other questions, thoughts?
Is there a timeline for these, like the Pickering Square, will they be switched out or are these gonna be permanent?
These are gonna
They're
be
gonna be
permanent.
permanent, okay. I'm sure we discussed it, I'm sorry.
I mean,
forgot.
I'm sure in a few years.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
probably
they
will
might.
have to be switched out, and they're
Okay.
not like. Forever permanent, but
Okay.
the plan is for these to be as permanent as possible. Like a mural
Yeah.
would be,
Awesome.
yeah. All right, there will be future ones, so I feel confident that we could award both restrooms to one person. I don't feel any concerns about that. Sundance?
Yeah, you answered my question. I just didn't know what the appetite was to do more. It wasn't clear. But the appetite is to do more.
The original, I mean, like, you know, when we were writing the RFP, like originally, there was like an idea floating around of like, there was like maybe 4 restrooms, but that didn't wind up panning out.
Yeah.
We just decided to start with 2
Yeah.
to test. And I think also to just get more confidence for city funding for the future ones. All right. Since I can motion, right?
Yep.
I motion, we award both restrooms to Mariah.
I'll second that.
All in favor? All right. Cool. I'm excited. I think all 3 were great, but I'm really excited about this.
That's
When I saw her
it's
application come
gorgeous.
through, I was like, oh, wow,
Yeah.
that's
when I-
really lucky.
When I saw her name, I was,
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's great.
I really like the dollhouse concept and the way it speaks to the streets, but I am more impressed with this application, so.
Yeah. All right. Cool. You will notify all 3 of them, I guess? of
Yeah,
decisions?
I'll,
Okay.
I will talk to finance about the next steps from here.
Yeah.
And, we'll get an update to everyone.
Cool.
And I've noted in this spreadsheet that we're now working on that apparently there's a demand for based on the conversation with Bangor Beautiful. That they have all applied for, so I have their contact information, so that's.
Thank you. Cool. Awesome. And then the city will provide Mariah with the panels.
Yep.
So I'm guessing Tracy will work with her on that. And then we will work on, once they're installed, which hopefully will be sometime in July, some sort of an event to celebrate the opening. Maybe it'll also be part of our October, but I kind of would like to do it earlier.
I know there is I know there's the Bangor sidewalk.
The
Yes.
summers.
Yeah,
yeah.
July.
Usually-
And that
It's
would work
usually
really,
Early in July, so that might be really tight.
but the deadline is June.
And if Mariah like is ready to go and we can get the panels to her quickly, then
Here we go.
We
It's July
could-
5th.
we could install them sooner if the city
Yeah,
is able to, and if she is able to.
That would be,
Paint them faster.
that would be pretty cool, 'cause
Yeah.
that's right there.
That would be
Yeah,
super
that'd be
cool
fun.
to have them ready for the Sidewalk Art Festival,
That
so.
would be really.
Well,
Wanna
maybe
include
let her
that
know that at
Plug
least,
for Tracy.
maybe let her know that at least the one near the library.
Yes, we could
Start
prioritize
with
that one.
yeah.
could-
Yeah.
Could
you
be
gotta do that one first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
first
That's a good idea.
because of later events.
Yeah,
And then it would be easier, I mean, like, I don't know if we were gonna do like multiple, but like an event for each restroom, but it would be easier later to do the one at the waterfront because.
doing
There's
one
not a
event for
street
both
there.
locations is gonna be complicated.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, cool. I'm very excited that this is finally actually happening. No, this has been a bit of a stop and start kind of project, so very excited about this.
It's funny to
Yes.
think about it. A party for a restroom.
Yes.
Just trying to connect things in my mind. So we approved a mural that was maybe gonna be on the pump station on
We
the
did.
Knuskeg? Is
Yep.
that moving
Mhm.
forward?
That's happening.
Yeah, that's moving forward.
Yeah, so I mean, that's gonna be
The
reasonably
person-
adjacent to the Broad Street bathroom
Yeah.
too, right? Yeah.
The
that's good.
person who's doing that mural asked me about this, but I don't think they ended up applying.
Mhm.
They
One
had
of
a
my
few questions.
coworkers is part of the class that's doing the
Mm.
substation,
Mhm.
Jenna's doing it.
Oh, okay.
And, yeah, she just mentioned the substation, so
Yeah.
I think they're starting doing that like maybe this month or next month.
It's a university class, right? So it
Yeah,
probably
it's
has to be done by early May.
So I think they're starting it this month because we were like, discussing.
Yeah.
Like university. photos
Um,
and stuff.
And that one does also have like a biology, ecology
Mhm.
theme, so I think this is also a good choice for that, the connection with
Nice
that.
compliment.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Great job, guys. That was super fast. I'm very proud of everyone. Any other questions, any other agenda items?
Just one little plug, now that
Yes.
we've like talked about these procedures that we're sort of like establishing for the committee going forward. I'd love to share the spreadsheet with everyone on the committee now that we have like sort of a foundation. So you can add artists, local artists that you know. It's not just for visual artists, there's visual arts, theater arts, literary arts, music arts, and dance. And I'm hoping that, I think we have 3-year terms.
Yes.
I'm hoping that we can keep this as part of like the cultural assets committee. You know,
That's a good idea.
they like steward it and we can pass it down.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like there's, in terms of like outreach, there's not a lot that the city can do legally and like ethically. So for the committee to be able to do it would be really helpful.
Yeah. That's great. We've already added all the Bangor Arts Award nominees from the last couple of years, as well as all the jurors, because they're all also local artists and art-related people, so. Cool.
Good.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
All right.
Email me if you want to join the subcommittee. I realize I need you to email me so I can send you the grants, the applications. And we're figuring out how to give we're figuring out how to give $7,700 to 5 applications that total $17,486.
You do have your little bit of leftover money from October also.
How much is that?
It's like a couple $100s, but I mean, it's something.
No, we gotta have that.
I mean, yes.
So we might actually be at 8,000.
I think we do like a song and dance for the city council. So
Well, that might help with because I saw that like when we put an ad for the RFP twice, that came out of the grants budget, right? The 104.
Yeah.
Right.
So if we can put the October, maybe like that would help balance that out.
Right.
I really don't want to be pulling from the grant,
No.
the little bit of grant money that we have to do things like advertise. the RFP.
Okay. Great. I adjourn the meeting.